Welcome to Maheepathi Talks. As you know that everything has been stopped because of this COVID-19, but learning has not been stopped. And there are many eminent personalities like Sushil Pal sir. People are coming forward to deliver their sessions. I'm glad that sir has taken the right subject like creative thinking for optimal education, which is the need of the hour. Sir is a poet and an author. It's a privilege for me that I thank T. Sunil Kumar sir who has introduced Sushil Pal sir. Now I request and invite T. Sushil Kumar sir to introduce our today's guest speaker, Dr. Koppula Sushil Pal sir.
Uh, Thank you, sir. Thank you for the privilege that you have given. It's real. Good evening, Dr. K. Sushil sir. Good evening, Maheepathi Srinivasrao. Good evening, everyone online. So it is my privilege and honor to introduce a great personality. I can say my guru and my mentor and my very well wisher, Dr. K. Sushil Paul sir, who has been with me for a very long time, and he taught me and he trained me when I was doing my master's education, like MA in English from YM College in Narsapur. And he's the only one who helped me and who really taught us so many things, how to deal with the things and what exactly education system is. So he's not only a teacher, but he is an author. I know him personally. He wrote so many books, several volumes of books. So one among them, even today, we are using like a book called Phonetics. All right. So that was wonderfully published throughout India. So he's a great author and a great mentor. At the same time, a very social, very good, great social human being. So when I asked him for a talk on lives and the way he accepted things, and I know that he is always ready to take any challenge. So the kind of the personality of Dr. K. Sushipal sir, we really welcome you for the session today, and it is my great honor and privilege to introduce you in such a way, right? The way you trained us, and we became like this today. So thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much once again to trying to give a talk on creative training today. And I hope that this today's session will be really wonderful. Thank you so much.
Now we invite Dr. Sushil Pal sir to start the session on the creative thinking for optimal education.
Good evening, Dr. Maheepathi Srinivas sir, my dear student, and now established teacher, T. Sunil Kumar, working in a university, both of them. And I can see here a name, Dattastri, and I don't know about the others. There must be a few others. Good evening, one and all. So thank you, Sunil, for your wonderful introduction. So that speaks of your love for your teacher. So I loved my students, and so I gave more than what generally a teacher needs to give, not merely the curricular aspects, but I used to go beyond the curricular aspects. That's one of the reasons that maybe our Sunil Kumar or any other student of mine loves me, not merely for teaching the subject, but going beyond the subject. Thank you, Sunil. So my association with English language teaching and with creativity goes back to my childhood, school days. Because of my mother, Dr. K. Prabhavati, who has been sent by the government of India on a Commonwealth Fellowship to England, to the University of Exeter, where she has learned the modern approaches, methods, and techniques of teaching English, and coming back holding a Promethean torch and spreading that knowledge of ELT in India, and especially publishing that in the form of a textbook. So this is the 5th edition of the textbook. Maybe it's not clear. Okay, so teaching of English, and I have co-authored that book when I was in my B.Ed. So by the time I did my postgraduate diploma in teaching English, so my knowledge at CFIL and the B.Ed knowledge that I gained, so both of them helped me to edit the book and add a few chapters. And as Sunil was saying, we added the phonetics chapter and then creativity and some other chapters like a functional approach. In those days, all of those were newly introduced concepts, and no other textbook, be a textbook, methods of teaching English textbook, used to contain such chapters. Maybe as far as I know, even the CFIL professors, they have not published a book proper in those days. So the first edition of this book was in 1972. Then in 1980, the third edition. 1972 is first edition, 73 is second edition, 80 is third edition. And then I was in matriculation, and after school I used to go to the press daily to do the proofreading of the book. And then when I was in B.Ed, I did the editing. So from proofreading, I developed into an editor. I did the editing job. And later, after, that is in 2000, and later again in 2008, I have brought about some limited editions of the book. So this is my English language teaching background. And of course, with regard to creativity also, I have my inspiration from my mother, because she did her PhD on creative writing, creative thinking and creative writing in teacher trainees, that is B.Eds, Bachelor of Education students, as well as their teachers. So the teachers and the students of B.Ed colleges, they were taken as a sample, and their levels of creativity, creative thinking and creative writing capabilities, that is both of the teachers and the students, that is teacher trainees, teacher trainers and teacher trainees. So that study was done in the cosmopolitan cities of India in 1980s, and a few samples have been secured from Nigeria, Africa, and England. So the sample from America didn't come. So without that, we have gone ahead with the, or rather, my mother has gone ahead with the analysis. And the basic finding, ultimately, of this or any other research work is that an intelligent student may not be creative, whereas a creative student may be among the top in the classroom. The intelligent student basically thinks in a convergent manner. He is focused like a horse which is having its eyes blinded in the sides, blindfolded like. So the horse cannot move, cannot see sidewards. It has to go straight only, focusedly. So the intelligent student's attitude is like that, going about the subject in such a manner, in a convergent thinking manner. Whereas the creative student, he may not get very good marks in the classroom, but he has so many questions and so many answers to each question. So his thinking is diversified. He thinks of so many things at the same time. Suppose, let us say, if you ask a an intelligent student, and as part of a lesson, suppose if you ask a question like what is the use of a brick, the intelligent student would give only one answer, that is to build some buildings. Whereas the creative student, he may give many answers, like I can use the brick for building, I can use it for making a kind of stand or support, I can use it as stumps to play cricket, putting one brick on another. Okay, I can do so many other activities. So he will give you a long list of answers. So his thinking would function that way. That is divergent thinking. So the importance of these two aspects, convergent thinking and divergent thinking, is because in the education system till date, we have been mostly focusing on the convergent thinking abilities of the students and neglecting the divergent thinking abilities of the students. In other words, we can't blame the teachers also for that, because the teachers themselves, they have to fit into the system that is making them restrain or control themselves. So the teacher himself cannot go beyond some parameters. So it's a challenge to the teacher too. The teacher himself needs to be creative in the teaching process. A lot of work, mental work, has to go in the mind, so that he can give expression, not in a monotonous manner, but in diverse ways, to his own ideas, to his plans, procedures, methods, approaches, techniques, so that they will be motivating to the students. So the teachers themselves should be creative. At the same time, as I try to focus on the creative aspects related to the divergent thinking, any thinking, it requires both actually. Even if you have convergent thinking, it can be developed into divergent thinking. Even if a child is divergent thinking, not at all focused on anything, still in his divergence, he has to find a convergence. I will illustrate all these concepts through some graphs which I have downloaded, some pictures from the net, and let us first see all those one by one. I will share the screen with you, the PPT or the slides that I have made for showing the different functioning of the brain, the right hemisphere and left hemisphere, or in the males or in the females. So like that. So let us see or explore the various ways the mind is working, and how much we are neglecting all those capabilities of the mind, restricting ourselves to a kind of predestined or predetermined kind of activity, school activity or college activity, or questioning and answering in the examinations. So let us see the slides one by one, and then okay, this will be the first part of my presentation, and in the second part I will present some ideas related to education in schools or colleges from the textbook I have I would like to share, and the chapter on creativity I will share with you, and see what aspects we need to take care of in the educational system. So let us start the PPT, and I'm starting with coronavirus. So in the invitation that Maheepathi sir, Dr. Maheepathi Srinivas has sent me, or in the acknowledgement for registration that he sent me, there is a mention of this. That is, during the pandemic condition of the coronavirus, COVID-19, 2020. So he is creating a platform for all of us to share share our experiences and to give and take, let us say, various ideas, let us say, related to teaching, whether it is English language teaching or any other teaching, and especially he was referring to psychology. So I think my topic is related to both English language teaching and psychology. So I hope you will enjoy this. And once you can see on the screen, will the June 21st solar eclipse kill coronavirus? Here's what the science says. So, can solar eclipse kill coronavirus? No. Okay, so there are so many myths. So first, we must break the myths, whether it is coronavirus related things or creativity, creative thinking, a classroom teaching. So there are so many myths. We have to break the myths first of all. So this here you have a brief presentation of the history of the coronavirus, which started in one form in 1986 from a microvirus they were looking at resembled a solar corona. So how many people have thought of that? How many people have linked our COVID-19 or coronavirus to the solar corona? Solar corona. So whenever there is an eclipse, solar eclipse, there is a corona, a solar corona. What is a corona? The bright crown-like ring of gases surrounding the sun that is visible during a solar eclipse. So you can see in the picture something like a diamond ring. There is the blackening of the sun, and there is at one edge the shining of the sun, because the eclipse is either getting completed or the eclipse is getting over. So when the moon is coming in the way, the last bit of light that you find is like the diamond ring that you can see there. It is referred to as diamond ring. So also when the eclipse is leaving, is going, you can see that diamond ring, torchlight. Okay, so this torchlight. Okay, leave it. Yeah. Right. So the corona is the outermost part of the sun's atmosphere. The corona is usually hidden by the bright light of the sun's surface. During a total solar eclipse, the moon passes between Earth and the sun. When this happens, the moon blocks out the bright light of the sun. So this coronavirus has blocked our activity, the human activity, the brightness of our lives. But at the same time, it is hiding. It is only hiding. Just as in the eclipse, the sun is hidden. So also it is only hiding some of our skills or talents or potential. But once the eclipse leaves, then our hidden potential, all the hidden potential is unleashed. So as you can say that the hidden bright light of the sun's surface is revealed. So also our creativity, our creative potential. Why I am referring to that creativity, in terms of creativity, because the corona has forced us to think of alternate ways of teaching, alternate ways of gathering or meeting or talking or interacting, communicating with people. So we are thinking of new technology and all possible alternatives. Okay, so this is the present scenario. So here I'm giving the definition. What does COVID-19 stand for? CO standing for Corona virus, and D for disease. Formerly, this disease was referred to as 2019 novel coronavirus. The new novel is new coronavirus, or 2019 nCoV. The COVID-19 virus is a new virus linked to the same family of viruses as severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, and some types of common cold. So why I'm giving this information? That is, when we teach something, we should teach the students the etymology also, the background, the etymology. So what is etymology? The original meaning. Suppose, what is the meaning of education? Educere. Educere means to bring out, to cull, C-U-L-L, cull, to kill, cull out, to bring out, to draw out, let us say, from the well of the student, the mind or heart of the student, to draw out his hidden talents, skills, potential. So educere, to bring out. So the etymology of any word helps us understand the concept better. Okay, and it gives us, let us say, a kind of romantic feeling about that. Okay, a kind of knowledgeable presence. Okay, so next, I was referring to the myth versus fact. So all things in life are related to some myth or other, especially the traditional cultures. So suppose the Greek or Roman mythology or Hindu mythology, they may present the eclipse as being caused by demons eating the sun. So cultures all over the world have similar mythological stories which describe how the solar eclipse happens. It's generally about the sun being eaten by demons or giant beasts. The lack of understanding of the celestial events in the earlier times gave rise to such myths, which are still in existence in form of stories and tales. See here, it may be a myth, but it is still creativity. So it is the creativity of the traditional cultures, the creativity of weaving a story, the creativity of trying to control the people not to see the eclipse. So because of these mythical backgrounds, and which are related to the medical aspects, physical well-being of the people, so some myths are woven so that we should not see the eclipse. In the Hindu mythology, you have even Lord Sri Krishna or some people like that, or the gods like that. They're also suffering because of an eclipse. So such myths are still in existence, and creativity is all the time, with all aspects of life interwoven, whether it is myths, stories, tales, or in any form, let us say, of expression, of human expression. So you can see the brightness of the ring of fire, the diamond ring. So this webinar offered to me from Dr. Maheepathi and through Sunil. So it has given me a kind of diamond ring like opportunity to move from the old threshold to a new threshold. So this is my first webinar, webinar talk. And thank you, Sunil. Thank you, Maheepathi sir. So this is the new opportunity, the unleashing. This is what I told about, the unleashing of the capabilities, the hidden talents, skills, or the potential. So earlier, let us say, I was merely a traditional teacher. Though maybe a poet, though creative, still the teaching methods were basically traditional. Though I may have used other teaching techniques, teaching electronic media, but this is something new, a webinar, a Zoom meeting. So let us progress. So here is a diamond ring, the rare ring of fire eclipse. A few months back, a few weeks back, we had one more eclipse. So now I'm starting the presentation. So this is a picture of a male and a female, and there are different diagrams incorporated into their minds, into the pictures that are shown there. So in the female mind, you see pictures of home, love, or time management, time, keeping time or something like that, and some others. And in the male counterpart, you see a tangent, an aim or goal oriented kind of activity, and a bulb showing some kind of idea sparking in his mind, and which is related to dollars. There is money, and maybe machines, the wheels, the clocks, okay, and other related aspects. So let us see a few more pictures and then go to more serious knowledge sharing. So here you see different approaches basically in a male or a female. Successful neuro advertising for male and female. So if the blue thing is, let us say, male, and then the female thing is in the pink, you see the interlinking of the cells more in the there is more creative activity or emotional activity. So the male point of view and female point of view. So you can see here a new way of showing the connectivity of the brain called connector maps reveals significant differences between men and women. So this is the typical functioning of the males and the females. So in the typical male brain, you see the links in blue. The links are within the hemispheres, right and left hemispheres. So the linking is more within the right hemisphere or within the left hemisphere, not between the two hemispheres. Whereas in the female brain, you see the linking between the cells in the right hemisphere and the cells in the left hemisphere more. So much of zigzagging, see, so many Zs, let us say, all zigzagging of the two hemispheres. So I'm reading for you. Most connections run between the front and back parts of the same brain hemisphere in the males, which could account for the better spatial skills and motor or muscle control in men. So this is a typical male brain. More links within the hemispheres from up down till down, let us say, or front to back, up and down or front and back. So this accounts for the spatial skills or motor skills and the muscle control in men. On the other, use the interlinking between the two hemispheres in the typical female brain. Many more neural connections go from side to side across the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Scientists say this could account for women's better verbal skills and intuitive abilities. So women have better verbal skills. So men are not as fluent as women are, whether it is in a day-to-day speaking or maybe in let us say, lecturing or any other context, maybe they are more fluent, whether it is mother tongue or any other tongue. Their tongue is a ready tongue, whereas the male tongue is maybe rather a little hesitative tongue. And the women have more intuitive abilities. So intuitive, that is going deep down into the mind, into the heart, and thinking of uh, concepts, even the ordinary concepts, more deeply. Now here is the question: to what kind of activity of the brain do you belong to? So whether in you is more the activity of the left brain or the right brain. So in the two parts, you see the different functionings. In the left brain, there is the number, mathematics, numbers, language, science, objectives, order, etc. More, it seems to be more systematic. And on the other hand, the right brain is more involved in imagination, music, art, creativity, emotion, memory. So these two functionings of the mind, are we using all these possibilities in the classroom? This is my question. Are we using all these potentials? Are we using all the let us say capabilities of both the hemispheres? Are we blending them? Are we, at least are we in taking care of them individually or in combinations? Imagination plus numbers, imagination plus language, imagination plus science, imagination plus mathematics, imagination with objectives, imagination with order, like that. So if you multiply one with the other, one faculty with all others on both the sides, you will have 30, 40, 50 combinations. Are we able to use all of these potentialities of the human brain? So the education system has to take care of these things. It has to address these concerns. Now here in this picture, you can see again the two parts of the brain. The intellect part, the masculine one. So don't think that this is related to the gender. It is not merely about the gender. It is about the mind, or the two hemispheres of the mind only. So the left hemisphere seems to be like the male functioning. The intellectual masculine functioning, which is related to logic, analytical thought, science, and mathematics. On the other hand, intuition. When we say intuition is feminine, don't think that all the males are not having intuition, or don't think that all the females are having a lot of intuition. It is not that thing, because whether it is a male or a female, in both of them, there are both of these. A male has both the intellect and the intuition, that is the masculinity and the femininity. And then a female also has both the faculties, because after all, she also has the same hemispheres, left and right hemispheres. So she also has the intellect, she also has the intuition. So she is both masculine and feminine also. So whether it is male or female doesn't matter, but the mind, it is the functioning of the mind we are discussing about. And both males and females have both the capabilities: intellectual capabilities, intuitive capabilities, masculine capabilities and feminine capabilities, logic, creativity, analytical thought, holistic thought, science and math, compassion. Okay, so both, it is related to both males and females. Now here are some of the functions of the mind. So on the one side, you see the feminine features. On the other side, you see the masculine features. So down below, at the slide, in the slide, you see two words. It is yin, and on the other side is yang. The yin is the feminine aspect, the yang is a masculine aspect. This thing is these two words, they are related to the Japanese or Chinese concept of wholesome life. Wholesome life. Nowadays, in pop songs, English pop songs or Hindi pop songs, even Telugu songs, Telugu movie songs or pop songs, or advertisements, Western advertisements or Hindi and Telugu advertisements, you see a symbol, a round circular symbol in which there are some kind of two fish or two dolphin-like images. They are like a interwoven, let us say. So it is something like this, like a ball. It is shown like this. So two together, two fish. This is one fish. This is another fish. Two fish together making a ball. So that symbolizes that one is male and another is female. Both of them making a completeness. So according to the Chinese or Japanese principle, the yin is the mysterious aspect, the unknown aspect, the mysterious aspect, the dark principle. It is called the dark principle, the dark or mysterious or the unknown life. Something deep down in the mind or something deep down in the heart. So generally we say we can't understand the mind of a woman. It is so deep in its thinking or in its feeling. So it is mysterious to the men. So on the same analogy functions this concept yin, that is the darker or mysterious, the unknown side, and yang is the lighter side or the brighter side, the known side. Light or bright in the sense, the known, the familiar, what is seeable or observable. So let us see the functions there. The yin functions: casual, free, intuitive, creative, visual colors, non-verbal, imaginative, emotional, holistic, divergent, subjective, random, simultaneous, adventuresome, spatial analog, sensory concrete, whole, big picture, synthetic, relational, left hand control. And on the yang side, the masculine side, systematic, directed, logical, rational, factual words, verbal, propositional, proposing something, making a proposition, rational, linear, convergent. Here you see the other side is divergent, here convergent. Object, sequential, successive, cautious, digital, abstract or symbolic, parts, thinking in parts, thinking in details, analytic, right hand control. So two functionings, they have to be balanced. The education system should take care of both of these aspects, both of these capabilities of a human mind. So to what extent we are able to furnish the student or facilitate the students' development in a school or in a college, in the classroom, by catering to all these potentialities, because these are there already by birth. They are there in them, in every child by birth. So to what extent are we developing or using, developing or culling? As I said, education means to bring out, to develop, to bring out, to cull, to draw out the potentialities or skills, talents of the student. So to what extent the present education system is doing that. So here again, a general abstraction, left brain versus right brain. Left side, language, numbers, analytical thinking, and on the right side, expression, giving more importance to expression, emotional intelligence, and imagination. Okay, so left side is logic related, right side is creativity linked. Here again is another picture, the unconscious brain and mind. So here, when it is referring to the unconscious brain and mind, let me bring to your notice one concept or one method of teaching, that is cystopedia. So in the technique cystopedia, what we do in the classroom, we play a soft, light, mild classical music or something like that. Just like when you are in a five-star hotel, in the background there is a mild volume of some music. So also I used to do this in the classroom for the students, playing some music on the tape recorder and asking the students to listen to my class. So the music is being played throughout the class, and I teach on my own. The students, they're not distracted by the music, they listen to my teaching. And what is the result of that? The concept, the main idea, the principle behind that is that music removes the barriers of the brain. The consciousness of the student prevents him from using all faculties of his mind. So whether if there are any hesitations, mental barriers, the music eases that. The music removes that and allows the student to relax in the classroom. There is no tension. If the teacher is playing music in the classroom, what is the problem for the student? He will happily enjoy. If the teacher is playing music and teaching, what is the problem for the student? But the thing is here, the music should not be loud, or the music should be only music, not a song. If it is a song, then the words of the song will distract the students. The student, even if you play it very mildly, the student will try to grasp each and every word of the song. That will be distracting. Maybe that can be used in a different context. You can use it separately as a separate activity. But when you are focusing on your own classroom, this background music has to be only music without lyrics, without song. Okay, so that removes the hurdles, the fears, hesitations that the students have, and the unconsciousness is now ready to release its capabilities, let us say. Okay, so that's about the conscious and the unconscious. The left hemisphere about the consciousness, and then the unconscious brain and mind. Both we can use both the potentialities of the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. So you can see the difference. One is having more white streaks. On the other side, there are very few streaks, white streaks. So in other words, one half of the brain is functioning in one way, another half is functioning in another way. And if we use both of those ways, then only the teaching or learning process will be more effective. So next slide. So it is not clear, but you can see at least the caption there. See at the end of the slide, at the bottom, you have the question: how brain injury impacts daily life? How brain injury impacts daily life? So already we have seen the left side functionings and right side functionings. So though it is not clear here, still I kept this slide merely for the purpose of telling you that if the brain experiences some injury, the functionings will be blurred like that. The right side functioning or the right side or left side functioning, both of them will be blurred. Just as this slide is blurred, so also the functionings of the two hemispheres will be blurred. The students will be affected. So we have nowadays music therapy or language therapy and all. So it requires some such serious activity like that, a music therapy, language therapy, and some other activity to repair the brain and to restore the functions of the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. So we have to take care of the child's health also. So the education system has to address the children according to their mental faculties, whether it is up to the, related to the right side of the brain or left side of the brain, whether the child is challenged in some way or other. So these things the education system has to address more. So also earlier I mentioned the male kind of activity and the female kind of activity. So since the male's mind functions one way and the female's mind functions in different ways, do we at least in the classroom show any kind of distinction between teaching the males and teaching females? No. We don't address even that basic question. A classroom may have 50% of male and female students, 50-50 may have, okay, but do we treat them differently? Do we teach them differently? No, we don't, we can't, or the education system is not so developed, or the teacher is not so conscious, or the teacher doesn't have the time to cater to their needs. Okay, so next. So here are some other pictorial depictions of different parts of the brain functioning for different purposes. So here you have sensory at the top, and then a parietal lobe related to the movement, occipital lobe related to vision, temporal lobe related to language, cerebellum, coordinate movement, brainstem, body basics, hippocampus, memory, entorhinal cortex, memory, amygdala related to basic emotions, hypothalamus, lateral orbitofrontal, appropriate social activity or behavior, emotional response, then olfactory bulb, dorsolateral prefrontal executive and logical functioning, frontal lobe related to planning, anterior singular, okay, that is related to motivation. So these different things, the mind may be affected if any part of it is affected. So the child's welfare, the health, mental health is of very great importance to the education system for us to explore or exploit all the potentialities or possibilities of the mind. So this slide already we have seen, but I have retained the slide only for one purpose, that is the question posted at the end of the slide, that is right brain or left brain. So we have to see in different people, whether it is girls or boys. Suppose some girls may be more masculine, some boys may be more feminine. It is quite possible. Some girls can be more masculine, some boys can be more feminine. Okay, anyway, so because of these complexities, we can take a preview, let us say, of the students' natures and cater to them, whether they are right brain or left brain. So here we have a generalization of the various activities, especially related to the IT and maybe management people and all, the people of the software or the companies, etc. So at the supreme position is the creativity, and which is linked to the other aspects of the mind or other functionings of the mind. So the extent of facilitating creativity is dependent on all of these things, the kind of environment that we are in, the clients or the people we are interacting with, the economical conditions, etc. Suppose maybe if you are well off reasonably, then maybe your mind is free of some burden or pain of poverty. Let us say you will be free in that regard. So if things are related to economics also, that is creativity, and designing or planning is important for daily activity or any planned activity, even for creativity also. In exclusivity, so something exclusive, something special, something extraordinary, something separated. And then construction techniques, so building up your techniques or methods or approaches, or step by step development, let us say. Taking responsibility for your growth, or if it is a teacher, the teacher taking responsibility for the student. If it is a student, the student taking responsibility for his own growth. And then management of resources, time, money, or anything else. And then having our priorities right, having or functioning within the scope of the law, and maybe making use of the IT, information technology, as well as we can, and develop to the full potential, full capabilities that we have. So this again is a kind of a repetition of what we have seen previously. Different parts of the mind functioning for different purposes. So language, vision, reading, facial recognition, hearing, smell, taste, and motor control. So why I have shown this once again is that we need to explore all the 5 senses that we have, panchendriyalu, as we say. So we have to explore in what way we can cater to the students' needs through the 5 senses. So only then we can have the 100% potential of delivering our teaching, and the student receiving our teaching and learning well. So basically we depend in the classroom on listening and reading. So different studies give us different statistics. Some statistics tell us that hearing amounts to 60% of learning, whereas some other research, it tells us that reading contributes more, or visual contributes more. So there'll be different researchers by different researchers, and depending on the social, political, economical, so many other domestic factors or other factors, the findings will be varying. So let us not worry too much about that. But let us say approximately, if listening contributes to something like 50 to 60%, and seeing contributes to let us say 20% or 25% more, and other 3 skills amount to let us say 10 to 12%. So totally it will be 100% utilization if we can explore the means or the techniques or methods or approaches of teaching through the 5 sensual perceptions. So here again is a picture which has got repeated, and that is the intellectual aspect, masculine, which is related to logic, analytical thought, science and math. Intuition, feminine, related to creativity. Holistic thought. Holistic is the completeness of thinking, the wholesomeness of thinking, and compassionate or emotional thinking. So the emotional aspects are very important, as important as the limbic functions or limbic brain. Emotional brain, limbic brain. Okay, so logic, reasoning, planning, organizing, precision, mechanical, sequencing, following, etc. must be blended with the others: foresight, insight, conceptualizing, synthesizing, holistic, relational, valuing, harmonizing. So here you can see 2 parts again divided into 2 twos. So all the 4 parts, upper and lower, and both the hemispheres. So together we can maybe do more research in this area. Maybe the educationists, the psychologists will help us to make the classroom more fruitful for the teacher and the student in the learning process. So this again is related to these functionings. I'm reading from the list. Higher mental functioning, problem solving, thinking, planning, judgment, emotional expression, creativity, behavior control. Motor functions, orientation, head and eye movements, posture. Broca area, control of muscles for speech production and ability to comprehend grammatical structure. So here we can keep in mind generally that suppose related to language in the mind, different parts of the brain are involved in different speech, parts of speech, let us say. Suppose one part of the brain is related to nouns, another part of brain is related to the verbs, another part of the mind is brain is related to the linking words, let us say. Okay, conjunction words, or so maybe another part related to adjectives, another part related to adverbs, so like that. So if one part of the brain is affected, automatically the child's capability to produce proper sentences is affected. So anyway, motor functions, initiation of voluntary muscles movements. So this is also important for speech or writing or whatever it is we do for learning process, listening, speaking, reading, writing. Sensory functions, sensation from skin and muscles, Wernicke's area, comprehension of speech sounds and language. Auditory functions, perceptions of sounds, tactile perceptions, processing of multisensory information through sense of touch. Visual functions, coordination of eye movements, perception, image recognition, association, visual memory. Association area. So there is one part of the mind which is related to associating various faculties, short-term memory, equilibrium, emotion, and all. So again, we have a separation of both the functions. You can read, and I'm reading anyway. Logic, that is related to I know exactly who I am. It's like being a master of one's words or language. Realistic, always in control. Linear, analytical. I am order. So I am in order. I am order. Strategic, organized. I love the familiar, the known. I'm the logic. So rationality. Okay? I'm a scientist. Okay, or a mathematician. Let us say. I categorize. I control. I'm accurate. I'm mathematical. I'm calculative in equations and play with numbers, practicality, etc. So that is to do with the rational aspect and emotional aspect or the aesthetic aspect. So see there you have art in big letters, aesthetic. So this is related to emotional and aesthetic development, which is very important along with the realistic or analytical aspects. I am everything I wanted to be. I am the sound of roaring laughter. So that is going beyond your ordinary thinking, thinking something else, like I'm the sea, I'm the sky, like that. A free spirit. So this part of the mind is helping you to think beyond the boundaries, going beyond the horizons. So the other part of the brain is limiting you to the known and familiar. But this part of the brain is freeing you. You are let free. There's a free flight of imagination, a free spirit, free movement, free uses of the senses. I sense, I'm movement, I'm the urge to paint on empty canvas. I feel, okay? So that is emotional. I'm artistic, I'm creative, I'm poetic. The feeling of sand beneath the bare feet. I enjoy even small things. I enjoy even small things like feeling the sand beneath the bare feet. I yearn. Yearn is desire. Deep down in my heart, I yearn. And I am more sensual. I like more of taste, more of passion. I am boundless in my imagination. So again here, practical, left brain, math, related to math, science, reasoning, logic. And on the other hand, we have love, music, poetry, art, creativity, vividness, passion, and peacefulness. Again, more on that. I'm the right brain. I'm intuitive. I love to love, let us say, love, love, love. I love to love. And I'm poetry. I'm freedom. I'm passion. I'm passionate. I'm vivid. I'm creative. I'm yearning, always yearning for more and more. Like you say, ye dil mange more. You see the advertisement. Ye dil mange more. I'm yearning for more and more. I'm more passionate. Okay. So the left brain. I am the left brain. I'm decisive, conclusive, categorizing, logic, accurate, analytical, rational, strategic, practical, controlling, and scientific, realistic. Again, more left side activity. There's a lot of fear, envy, hate, searching, practice, plan, lack, sadness, guilt, opposite, fight. Fight, limits. There are so many limits, so many worries, belief. I'm a drunk lie. So I'm drunk with lies. Okay, myths. I believe the myths. Okay, I don't break the myths. I don't conquer the myths. So then I'm maybe more judgmental. I'm more separate, more sick. I more argue. I'm more chaotic. I'm more individualistic, or I try to maintain my own loneliness or identity. I hold on to my sense of self. I don't let myself freely exchange with others. I'm bored. I'm intellectual. I'm obsessed. I'm hopeless. I'm confused, and so on and so forth. So when you limit the brain or activity, your life, to the rationality, that is what happens. As I said in the previous slide, sickness. So sickness is related to the kind of depression. So the left brain may lead you to depression, whereas the right brain can bring you out of the depression. Okay, again, similar examples. On the right side, you can have more better words, good wishes, or artistic capabilities, happiness, imagination, music, love, peace, creativity, freedom, intuition. Another depiction, the right side, artistic, musical, colors, playing with colors, playing with ideas, that is creativity, intuition, emotions, etc. On the other side, the same usual ones, maintaining a sense of time, having a clear black and white vision, clarity of thinking, logical mind, rationality, mathematical, and linguistic. Again, different depiction. Left brain, logical, realistic, linear thinking. So this is linearity is straightforward thinking. Whereas on the other side of linearity, you have creativity. Creativity is diversity, thinking diversely. So linear is convergent, creative is divergent. So again, left side is analytical, strategic, accurate, practical, mathematical, and always in control. Right side, free spirit, artistic, creative, function, fun based, poetic, sensual, passionate, fearless, adventurous. That is risk taking. So the risk takers are the ones who change the world. That is the creative people. The right brain people are the ones who transform the world. The left brain people can't transform the world because the left brain people are afraid of change. The right brain people are they are bringing the change. They are adventurous. So the same thing again, but a few different words. On the right side, you have the feelings of, feelings being visualized, or visualized feelings, or visualization of feelings, imagination, intuition. So intuition is again related to divine knowledge. So there is also an important faculty, a mysterious knowledge that you have, which is attributed to God or to religion, some higher kind of functioning of the mind, or higher kind of excitement. Religion is always considered as higher kind of excitement for the human brain. Intuition, rhythm, holistic thinking, arts. So this is the next idea that I am going to present, the basic idea, how these two functionings of the mind are. So you can see in a circular presentation, two circles are there. The inner circle is centrifugal forces suggested. The external circle is suggesting centripetal forces. So the centripetal, the external ring, the centripetal forces, see, they are playing inwards. The effects of market or rationality, size, etc., developed labor markets or positive externalia, etc. So external factors are moving inwards, and centrifugal is outward movement. From the center, it is moving outwards. From the individual mind or person, the forces are moving outwards and expanding. They're growing. That helps the mind to grow. The immovable factors of production, land, rent, negative external area. So this is related to some management kind of conceptualization. We can have another picture also, so which is more basic, more clear. So here you see forces. Centripetal forces is a force, let us say, which acts inwards towards the center. That is concentrating on the center. It is convergent thinking. Centripetal force suggests convergent thinking of the mind. Centrifugal force is not real force, actually. Centrifugal is only an apparent force. It is not real force, but it is still a force. It is an apparent force, but still it is a force. You can't see it, maybe. You can't see it, but it is there. Suppose it's like when you are driving a car, you take a left turn, but your body moves or swings to the left. The car, you are taking a left turn, but your body is taking a right turn in the opposite direction. So this is like that. So centrifugal force is not apparent, but it is there, present always, and it is helping you to expand the functioning of your mind. The horizons, expanding horizons. So expanding horizons. So the centrifugal force is suggesting the expanding of the horizons of the human brain, human mind. So this is once again a depiction of the two forces. Centripetal forces is moving inwards, and centrifugal force is moving outwards. Centrifugal inwards, centripetal outwards. So both the forces are balancing the rotating movement of the object there, the helicopter or aeroplane or whatever it is, the car. So here, see, if two or three people hold together and they move round and round, then the movement which is functioning inwards, that is the third person holding to the second one holding to the first one holding to the pole, that is the centripetal force, the inward force in action. And centrifugal force is the outward force. So when you move, and if there is a small slip or loss of balance or something, then the third person seems to be going out of the orbit, out of the circle. Okay, so he is thrown away, out. So this is a comic picture or a humorous kind of depiction, but it is true of creativity. So whereas the centripetal function of the mind, it is always drawing you only in a concentrated manner, in a focused manner towards a single answer. the centrifugal force, or the force which is making you think outside the box, what you call thinking outside the box. It is making you go outside the orbit and explore. Here it is only humorously depicted that the fellow is falling out of the orbit. But a person's mind, it has to go out of the orbit, out of the routine, to see new perceptions, to have new perceptions, new understandings. So here you have a picture again, divergent thinking, convergent thinking, one using imagination, another using logic, one creative, another critical, one horizontal, another vertical. Okay, one related to brainstorming, okay, or horizontal thinking, that is, and another related to analytical or linear vertical thinking. So one question for a creative person, one question gives so many ideas, and for the usual intelligent student who is focused on one answer, the answer that the textbook gives, the answer that the teacher has taught, the answer that he has by hearted. So there is all, that is all the facts, all the questions, they focus him only towards the answer. He is only bothered about the answer. Okay, the convergent thinker is bothered only about the answer. The divergent thinker uses the problem to have as many answers as possible. So his source is the question. For the divergent thinker, his power is questioning. He questions himself. He questions everything in as many ways as possible. So it's so many answers. Whereas the convergent thinker, any kind of questioning you do, he's only thinking about the answer. So the thinking of the creative person is always going outside the box. Depiction. So creativity leads to innovation, and innovation is a process. Creativity leads to innovation. Innovation leads to invention. That is related to the product. Creativity is the mental aspect. Innovation is putting a concrete shape, and invention real being brought out. You can see here the development in divergent thinking. Question is source, and so many ideas are generated. So questions, we have the answer that is ready-madely furnished or given. Next. So here again, two ways of saying this well-defined problem and a simple correct answer. For convergent, the convergent thinker is only bothered about conclusions, having a proper conclusion, an analytical conclusion. When on the other hand, the creative person is open-ended, open-minded, and any problem gives him so many ideas, and he zigzags between all the possibilities. He explores all the possibilities. So here you can see so many links in the diagram B. We have so many links between the ideas. In the first diagram, there is no linking. It is only straightforward movement, a linear movement. If one linear movement is wrong, then he takes another linear movement, that's all. But the divergent thinker is not like that. He explores all the possibilities of right and wrong answers. He explores both right answers and wrong answers. So he'll have so many answers. So this is the conclusion for this aspect. Brains work in two ways: convergent thinking, logical, analytical, solution reducing, thinking, creative, artistic, solution generating. So those two words I am highlighting: solution reducing versus solution generating. Solution reducing versus solution generating. So here again, you have the divergent thinker asking so many questions. Thinking isn't S&M. He's asking himself so many things. Then beats Edward D. Bono, a great book writer of creative thinking. So he's suggesting think lately. Edward Bono, think linearly, not convergently. So this fellow who's, let us say, following Edward D. Bono and his ideas of creativity, he sees lots of possible answers to a question, lots of ways to interpret a question, multiple answers. He has not merely one. Okay, and then on the other hand, isn't the same thing as creativity the process of having original ideas that add value? So what is it that gives our ideas more value? That is the novelty, the newness. Creativity implies newness, novelty, originality. Anything a person does or any idea a person has for the first time in his mind, that is definitely creative. It may be an old idea for other people. It may be an old idea. For this person who's thinking for the first time in his mind, and he's so here the convergent thinker thinking of possibility, he's omitting possibilities. So he thinks directly for a solution, omitting all the possibilities. Whereas creative thinker thinks of all the possible ways to reach the final solution. Another basic term here is synthetic. Okay? In the divergent thinking, you have synthetic thinking. In convergent thinking, you have analytical thinking. So let us see the contraries. Divergent thinking, you have lateral or non-linear thinking. You have irrational thinking, the creative person, the divergent thinker, has irrational thinking. But beyond that irrationality, there will be some rationality. Beyond irrationality, there will be some rationality for the divergent thinker. On the other hand, the convergent thinker only thinks of rational thoughts. So on the one side, you have non-logical thinking. On the side, logical thinking. On the one side, flood-like thinking, flood. So there are flood of ideas. So many ideas flood the mind of the student or flood the mind of the person, the creative person. Whereas on the other hand, the focused thinker, convergent thinker, he has the spotlight thinking. Then multi-directional thinking, divergent thinker. And the convergent thinker only has directed thinking. The divergent thinker is always revolutionary, breaking the barriers, going beyond the horizons, thinking of the unthinkable. Whereas on the other hand, you have the critical thinking. This critical thinking makes the convergent thinker limit himself because he doesn't want to become a fool before others. So he goes by the rule. His thinking is rule-based. So in the small graph there, you have the divergent thinker. And the convergent thinker, he is only making choices. He's only the options that he has, making choices or sorting out. Whereas a divergent thinker is creating choices. The convergent thinker is only picking up choices. The one making choices is superior to the one who is making choices. The one who is finding out on his own and discovering on his own is using his mind more than the one who is sorting out clarity. Next.
Is it done, sir? You are muted, sir. You need to unmute yourself and speak. You need to unmute your microphone and speak, sir. Sushil, sir. Unmute your microphone and speak.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Is it done, sir?
Yeah. Can I continue?
No. If it is completed, no problem, sir.
Yeah. I'll just display a few slides and we'll complete.
Okay, sir.
Is it too late?
Yes, sir. But generally,
Okay. Okay. I'll just run through the slides.
you can give a conclusion statement, sir, like what exactly.
Yeah, fine. Okay. Right. Okay. Right, sir. So, to what extent are we able to utilize all the potentialities of the students and the teachers in the classroom? Is the educational system facilitating us with that? Is the educational system, the university, let us say, or the governments, are they creating that kind of flexibility, that kind of possibility? Suppose I can't change the classroom setup. I have straight row benches, that's all. The students are fixed as if they're stuck to the seats, but there should be mobility. Okay, the teacher should use various kinds of activities to help the different enabled students or differently abled students to learn differently. Suppose total physical response. You make the students go from one place to another place or from one student to another student and ask them to do some small tasks or jobs and linguistic actions. So physical action going along with linguistic action. Whatever physical activity you ask the student to do, by that activity only you teach the sentence, the grammar or whatever it is you want to teach, the concept that you want to teach. Teaching colors or teaching to pay compliments or receiving compliments. So anything. So that is total physical response. And as I said, you can use various methods like playing music also, or songs, or various videos, etc. in the classroom. You can make even a dance. Suppose you can make a cultural thing like harikada or borakada or whatever it is, or sodam antar kada, sodamma. And even that in English language, we did that when the British Council has trained us for the state government's program on communication skills, which we have cascaded as master trainers to the various engineering colleges. I myself have taught 50 engineering faculty members of Bhimvaram, that is Vishnu Women's College of Engineering, and SRKR Engineering faculty. So I made them do all these activities. They have happily danced with me, they have played with me, they have sung with me, and they didn't hesitate. Even a 50-year-old, 60-year-old like me, among those faculty members, they didn't hesitate to do and learn or teach in this manner. So that is what I mean. First of all, the teacher must be creative. The teacher must be creative. He must be coming up with various activities and then helping the students to learn in as many possible ways as possible using all the 5 senses. So that's my conclusion, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
wonderful. Now you started saying that what can be done to become the creative teachers, and also, you have made it and inspiring, and also you explain lot many things about the brain, right brain, left brain, convergent thinking, divergent thinking, how we need to inculcate in our day-to-day life, what kind of activities can be done, right from giving an example there. If we ask that what can you do with a brick, multiple answers, how these two brains are being coordinated and all, male, female. And thank you very much, that it was very inspiring, and also making us to think that, because you yourself being a creative person, you wrote many books, and also you are a resource person for many uh, national and international training programs. I know that you are the trainer program. You have a lot of 3 decades of uh, training experience and in the teaching field, and I'm really happy that even students were sharing the same thing. Venkatatnam sir was telling that wonderful, sir, has nostalgia for my MA classes.
Yeah.
Even the people we have got comments on Mr. Shanti. Good evening, Sushil sir. I am Mr. Shanti, your student, 2005 to 2007. Very informative session. Thank you very much, sir. Royce also says it is very informative session. Got a lot of feedback on the YouTube and Facebook and also on Zoom. The people who are available on the Zoom. Thank you so much, sir, for your patience. I should really appreciate. No, you've taken a
Thank
lot
you,
of
sir.
time and you have done a lot of work. No, you made it. You presented. No, I can see that. No, when you are presenting, the way how you presented is wonderful. Thank you so much. A special thanks to Sunil, sir. Really,
Yeah.
I felt very happy and inspired when you attended Sunil sir when he was presenting. Being a teacher and mentor for him, you also guided him and you attended. That shows the commitment of a faculty towards the students. I felt very happy and I'm very glad that you accepted to deliver a session on this day. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you for
Thank
introducing,
you, sir.
sir. It was very wonderful and
Thank you,
Welcome, sir.
Sunil.
Thank you so
made
much.
us to understand clearly what is creativity, what is convergent thinking, what is divergent thinking, what are the areas that we need to focus on all. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I thank
Thank
all
you.
Thank you
the
very much.
participants, Rajni, Maipal, Kirti, Balaji, Esther, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Once again. Thank you, Sushil Pal, sir. Thanks a
Thank you,
lot.
sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Maheepathi Srinivas, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share a few ideas with you. Maybe if you go to the internet, you can get all those ideas, all those things ready made. But sharing experience is more important.
That's very important.
Right, sir.
Correct, sir.
So
Yeah.
maybe the utility of this online webinar is sharing. That's all.
Yes.
Sharing my experience with you, at least like what I used to do in the classroom, cystopedia, and other techniques that I followed. Like, yes, sir.
Exactly. You're told that no, Sodikata, how you made it, creatively made it in the communication skills part. That was really, sir. No, you made, implemented, and shared. As you rightly said, that in the information can be available on the internet, but not the experience. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you very
Yes.
much.